Good morning. I'm late to work as usual. The combines are waiting on me. Had a little bit of an incident with my alarm clock this morning, but it's also Sunday and we don't actually have a set start time for the day, so you can really be late if you didn't know when you're supposed to show up. At least the scales are happy to see me. Uh-oh, I'm already loaded. Better get to it. If I come back to work tomorrow and they haven't replaced me, I'd be surprised. This combine was stopped. That combine stopped back there waiting on me. Off to a rough start. When I woke up this morning, since it was Sunday, I knew we weren't going to start first thing in the morning. We usually delay our start by a couple hours. In my half asleep state, I accidentally messed up my passcode on my phone multiple times, so I was locked out for a couple minutes. And in that couple minutes, I didn't have time to set a new alarm and fell back asleep for an undisclosed amount of time. And I woke up to a phone call from my boss. Not a good look. I do feel refreshed though. It was worth it. The auger back at the bin is giving us a little bit of trouble right now, probably in protest of working on Sunday. I can't really say that I personally disagree with how the auger feels today, but that's gonna slow us down for a little bit. Dad's already gone with his truck. I'm taking the third semi in and we're gonna see if we can get it fixed up. What would be great is if we have it fixed before the combine has completely filled the cart. That way we really didn't have to stop that much. We'll see. Trucking. See you later, farm equipment. There's gonna be me in the open road this morning for a whole 2-mile drive. This is about as bad as waiting at the elevator. So you just put the chain on the other auger on it?
Yeah, it's just a little tighter, but not much.
Just get stretched out?
It's wore out.
Well, that's what happens when you run a couple 100,000 bushels through them.
How many we run through them? A couple million.
A million, 100,000. Not much, not much difference.
No.
Marty the mechanic had already gotten it fixed before I got here. I'm taking this other truck back to the field and we'll just keep going with harvest. Over time, the main drive chain on the auger had gotten stretched out and worn out, and it was starting to jump on the gears. We took one off our other auger for now. It's a temporary solution, but it should last us for a while. Do you want to hear the most satisfying sound in the trucking world? The old Jake brake. It wasn't easy, but I finally caught up to the combines. I'm just really good at my job, other than the fact that I didn't show up on time. I'm at the point in this farming season where my body is so used to being in the tractor that when I get home at night at the end of a long day here in the grain cart, my body is still doing the back and forth motion of the weight shaking me. I'll sit down to eat or edit, not moving at all, and in my body, it's like my natural sensors are still moving back and forth. Kind of like being on a boat all day. Does that ever happen to any of you tractor operators? It's really kind of cruel if you ask me. You work all day, you're ready to go home and relax, not have farming directly on your mind for a couple hours, get some sleep maybe, refresh your mind. Next thing you know, your body's got different plans. You're like, oh, we're gonna remind this guy that he's been running the grain cart all day. It's such a strange feeling though. It makes you feel kind of like you're living in a simulation. Maybe you are. Now look who's waiting on who. I caught the trucks. Now I don't feel that bad about being late. That's all we got left in this field. Headed somewhere new. Got a little bit of grain going. Think I can fit all this into one truck? I doubt it, but we always can try. No, I didn't spill any at all. I don't know what you're talking about. It didn't all fit though. Time to go facilitate some logistical movement. I have actually zero idea what field we're going to, but me and this rock are gonna go figure it out. Uh-oh, he's gonna have a buddy. Me and both of these rocks are gonna go figure it out now. As much as I don't want to pick up the rocks because I'm kind of lazy, I have an ethical obligation to do so. Imagine I leave that rock in the field, it gets run through a combine next season or a season from now or even a decade from now and causes a couple $1,000s worth of damage just because I didn't want to do a little bit of work. So I always pick them up. Little pit stop at home. Headed that way. What'd you say? She's getting pretty full. Might have room for another couple 1,000 bushels. Some nice tropical damp air coming out of the bins. Warm and moist corn. You can definitely feel the fan blowing it out. You hear it coming up the auger right now. We're moving 3 or 4 miles down to the east here to pick a little bit more of corn to finish off the couple 1,000 bushels of corn we need in this bin. I doubt on a Sunday evening with the sun about to set that we're really gonna push into another bin. We'll probably call it a night after this. I'm gonna go catch up with the combines and hopefully we can finish this today. Corn dust everywhere. You can tell very easily someone is a farmer or works at a grain elevator during harvest time if they're always covered in corn dust. It's like an ash that rains down at bin sites. Also, the automatic manual transmission in that 9200i International truck still giving us issues after coming back from the shop. Fingers crossed that it makes it through the rest of the season. The people really unfamiliar with the grain cart are curious how I judge the distance to line it up. First time you catch a combine, the easiest thing to do is have them put their auger out and you just drive right underneath it. You can see pulling up right underneath it, put the auger right directly in the center of the grain cart. Once I know that I'm exactly where I need to be, I pick a point somewhere on the right side of the tractor, because that's the side the combine will always be on, to line up with. For the 9670, which has a 3-foot shorter unloading auger than the S670, I like to put the outside row of corn somewhere in between the 2 bolts on the exhaust. For the S670, I line up with the top bolt on the exhaust. I really don't even have to do that, I kind of just eyeball it. As the grain cart driver, you're not really trying to do anything fancy. You want to fix speed and you want to fix position. As long as you're in the right area, the combine operators can do the rest. One of the few things you do need to be very wary about if you're not leaving your augers out all the time, especially on your combines, is that when the combine auger swings out, it doesn't have the same elevation at the bottom as it does at the top. If you go underneath it as it's folding out of that storage position, it'll actually hit the side of your grain cart. So you have to let the auger fold out a little bit before you make your approach underneath it. Other than a few minor adjustments, you just need to know the length of the auger for the combine and also what speed that combine wants to dump at. Both combines are different. Katie in the 9670 dumps at about 4.5 miles an hour in corn. Dad in the S670, we run about 5.5 to 5.6. If you have an extra auto steer system available that's not on one of your tillage tractors, it's actually very nice just to set a point A and a point B out in the field. After setting my A and B point exactly in line with where I want to be, I can always center it when I'm directly under the combine, hit resume, and it'll drive me straight. You don't need that though. You're driving slow enough with the grain cart that hand steering's really not that hard. The auto steer is more of a luxury. The last load that we sent back to the bin was the final touch. Katie and I are going to finish loading this truck here, take it in back home, and then tomorrow it's going to go to the elevator. We'll probably set a new auger to a different bin and go from there. Real quick, I'm going to move Dad's combine to a better spot to stay overnight. Dad's been complaining the last few days about difficulty with his power steering. Surely it's not broken. I guess we'll find out. He's probably just a wuss. Oh man, oh jeez. Oh. Never mind, I take that back. He's been driving it like this all day. Oh, that's difficult. I think I get some leverage. No wonder he left to go to the bin. Like, this is how hard I'm steering it. That's how much the wheels are moving. I take it back, Dad's not a wuss. Don't want to snap the steering column off. I've seen someone on YouTube do that before. Okay, I'm parking it right here. I do not want to steer that anymore. This is where she's resting for now. Hopefully you can get that fixed the next few days. I bet you he's going to be pretty sore tonight. Looks like Katie has enough corn to fill that truck. Let this cool down a little bit and we'll go there. Oh, really don't want to, but I probably should clean that off. That's enough spelunking for me tonight. That's the first time I've spilled any major amount of grain all season. I'm doing pretty good so far, but that's the worst I've done. Kind of weird to load the trucks this angle. My spout was down in the tart nose, and the grain was feeding really weird back out. Still my fault, should have gone a little slower. That's where they'll rest for the night. I'm parked on top of the terrace, so hopefully the great flood doesn't come. We finally made it back home. The south 48-foot bin is full. We took the tractor down, and tomorrow I believe we'll set up to our shivers bin there. Not gonna hold a whole lot, and we won't use the dryer system at all. It's usually the last one we fill here. Then we've got probably 4 more corn bins to fill around the farm. Not this farm, but other farms. Wow, we quit during golden hour. We can actually enjoy the views. If you also like harvest sunsets, make sure you like the video. Team tillage right here. We just need to hook that one up over there. One of our neighbors and friends borrows that to work some of his ground. And we'll put her on the big gal there, start ripping some dirt up. I would think with how dry it is that this ground would be hard, but I've heard that it's kind of powder. Look at that fireball over there. Just want to grab it. The forecast today shows a slight 40 to 50% chance of rain for the next few hours. I'm really hoping it doesn't rain so we can finish picking corn. Part of me, if I'm not lying, kind of wishes we get a little bit of precipitation to settle the dust down and so I can take the day off. Looking up another ripper. Hopefully this will hold it. I can barely hold it in my hand. It's a lot heavier than it looks. It's always a miracle when the tires retain air on these. Notorious for not doing so. Look good to me. This one though, not quite in as good a shape. If you let it get too low, you got to reseat the tire, which actually looks like it's approaching that point. I was really hoping he was going to run it a little bit. Just relocated it. We've got a little bit of time to kill, waiting on a little bit of moisture to get off the stalks to make harvesting a tiny bit smoother. We're gonna go ahead and take this tire off. That's definitely gonna need reseated. Whew, I'm exhausted from watching Dad work. Although, I am usually the person who has to load it into the truck. Setting up to fill the last bin here at the farm. The smallest one. Put a lot of corn in the last few days. The John Deere mechanic came out this morning and fixed his power steering. He's like a kid in the candy shop now. I don't know why I'd be so excited about having power steering again. I usually don't regret parking really far out in the field until the next morning when I have to walk to the tractor. At this point in the year, I probably accumulated 75 to 100 hours in this tractor. Needless to say, after you spend a really long amount of time in one place, not moving very much, eating in there, and sweating sometimes when it gets too warm, it starts to develop a smell. So I brought a solution. The classic black ice air freshener. Smells refreshing. That's a pretty full combine. It's wild how fast that unloading auger can empty that tank. What's even crazier is that an X9 combine can unload twice as fast. Bad news, they took the rain out of the forecast. Now I gotta work all day. The worst part is that I was already daydreaming about what I was gonna start doing when it rained. I was gonna go to the gym, I was gonna clean up the house a little bit, work on some editing, and now I'm just gonna be stuck in the tractor. There's worse places to be though. And it really does look like it could still rain. Time will tell. Here's some good news though, lunchtime. Well folks, I may still be free this afternoon. We got a little bit of a wind coming across. Put this baby in road gear and get this truck loaded. And my air filter's restricted. It actually happened last year. It's just right over there. Probably got bean dust in it. Not gonna be any shortage of dust after this wind. I hope it doesn't rain. The one nice thing about how big the grain cart is it makes a good wind block when you want to tarp the truck. Catching this combine, and this combine's pulling up. I don't know if we're making plans to be done for the day. It's rained just enough to make the windows messy. Mother Nature can't quite decide what she's gonna do here. Kind of afraid to turn on my windshield wiper. Sometimes it makes it worse. Okay, that's not terrible. I'll consider that an upgrade from what I was seeing. Even with the minuscule amount of rainfall we've had, it was enough to make the corn harvest a little bit harder than we'd like. The stalks were starting to pile up in the corn head, and we're getting a little bit of head shelf from the moisture on the ears. I think we're gonna call it quits at least until the sun comes back out, which may be today and may be tomorrow. I really don't know. Can you tell I was already daydreaming about what I was gonna do? Had some corn run off the back. I've spilled more in the last 2 days than I have all fall. What's happening to me? All the equipment shut down. I got a little bit of corn left on the cart. I tarped it so it wouldn't get wet, and I also left the auger out. That way any rainfall didn't get down in there. Hashtag augers out for Harambe. I'm not entirely sure whether or not we're gonna be back to the field or not, so I'm bringing all my essentials back in with me. That way I don't have to make a trip back out to the grain cart to get all my stuff. I really hope that we come back out and harvest more. Combines are shut down across the road. I really wouldn't be surprised if we're not back out here another hour or so to pick some more corn. I'm gonna take this truck to the elevator for now. See you later, grain cart. For all the darknesses that this truck has, it does have one shining bright moment. Both windows are power controlled. That's bougie. Fortunately, in the last 20 minutes, the truck did not fall apart. My morale, though, is a different story. Back to work. Moving just a little bit north to another field, somehow I got stuck in the truck and Dad gets to move the grain cart. Since we run an extra truck compared to our manpower of trucking, when I meet Jeff on the road, we switch. So he'll take that to the elevator after I delivered it halfway, and I'll go back to the field and run the grain cart. As a good trucker should always know, the only good place to park your semi is right in the way. And that's exactly where I put it. Check another field off our list. We're headed east to another big field of corn. Found a little visitor on the side of the interstate today. Some of you guys might recognize him. It's Ron from Hartung Family Farms.
I don't know how they can recognize me when I'm half in camo though.
Yeah, I only see half of him.
That's exactly right.
He's with his native equipment here, John Deere, as all things should be.
The good stuff.
Says the guy who runs red.
That's true.
He's a lot taller in person than he is on camera.
And I'm not just because I'm on a tire. I'm like, what, 14 feet in the air right now?
I'm gonna get down on the ground to showcase his actual height.
Oh, yeah.
I guess the camera adds height, not width.
That's exactly right.
He's down here in God's country, trying to steal trade secrets.
Or steal some of this flat ground you guys got. My gosh, I would get 2 fingers for this type of ground.
Well, we got a treat for you. We get to run the 9670. And Ron's a combine expert, I guess. The only thing I'm an expert in is not working very hard.
Yay.
Ron's got me pretty well versed on how to run a combine. I think next year I'm gonna put in my application, maybe get some full-time combine operations in.
I'll vouch for it. I'll be your reference.
Does that get me a raise? Back to my day job though. The links he'll go to for good drone footage. I don't want to get hit in the head by a corn cob. This man's dedicated to his craft. Wow, this guy needs to teach lessons or something. He's pretty good at this drone thing.
Did I make you lose your salary?
No.
Ah, dang it.
That drone footage probably looked good. You're
Oh
brave.
my.
When you had it in between the tractor and the combine unloading, I was like, this guy's a madman.
Yep.
You have a license to fly like that?
Yep. I also have a license for these guns. Yes, there's nothing that, or lack thereof, I
They're
should say.
concealed.
That's
Concealed
true.
carry.
Just look at that. You can't even see them, they're that big.
I think it's the camouflage.
That's exactly right.
He said he's going to charge me, but he's going to teach me how to run a drone that good.
It's true.
I think I could use some lessons. Well, we're shutting down for the day. I learned a lot about farming, especially over in Iowa. I don't think I'm going to apply anything because we're already really good at what we do here in Illinois.
It's true.
But this combine expert has taught me a lot of new things. I appreciate him stopping by. So if you guys aren't familiar with Ron from Hartung Family Farms, make sure you go over to his channel. I'll put a link down below. Like his videos, every single one of them, and subscribe to his channel as well. Got anything to say, Ron?
What I would give to trade, can we just trade for a year? Like, I'll come farm with you guys, you can come farm back home. Like, I would love to farm this. Just not have to worry about, you know, flipping carts and wash out. I would farm with terraces all the time. But you guys look like you have a great farming operation. I'm really jealous, and I'll have to come back sometime soon.
All the stuff he just mentioned sounds so alien to me. If it's not flat and black, we just let it grow into grass.
Yeah, 16-degree slopes. No, thank you.
After another long and interesting day of corn harvest, we're back at the farm. At this point in harvest season, all of our bins at the main farm are full. 5 of them have corn in them, and the north one has beans. We've only got a couple hundred acres more of corn to go. Hopefully we can keep up this aggressive harvesting pace we've had all season with a lot of uptime and minimal downtime. This has been one of the best falls by far for our productivity. And what a roller coaster of a day we had. We went from at one point thinking we were done for the day to next thing you know, back in the grain cart hitting it hard. And we had a special surprise from Ron at Hartung Family Farms. It was very nice of him to stop by and check out the operation on a break from working with Deere's harvesting program. It was awesome to finally meet him in person. He's even better than he is on his videos. So if you're not already subscribed to him, head over to his channel and tell him I sent you in the comments. I think that's enough farming for one video. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, I appreciate your support. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more, and comment if you have any questions. You know I love to talk about farming. Have a great night, everyone. Peace!